Soldiers of Shoot.
What's up? What's up? What's up? And welcome, troops. This is Daddy Cool, AC, Soldiers of Shoot, a little solo mission here. It's been a few minutes since I talked to you, so I figured I'd come back and spit some fire, baby. Well, maybe not. We're just going to talk. We're going to have some fun. I've been listening to the great content here on the Soldiers of Shoot YouTube channel, produced by the one and only, the Hollywood writer himself, Hollywood Edwards, and the Electric City Saint, the Steve Town Stunner, Bobby. They've been doing some Raw and SmackDown reviews. They've been doing some outstanding reviews of the Impact Wrestling show, which I did watch the recent pay-per-view, which was very good. I know we covered it at some point here, me and Hollywood, and I plan on watching more just because, you know, I've talked about in the past that I watched NXT because I needed my wrestling fix, and that was my way to get my wrestling fix. But I also said on these airwaves, after the Viking Experience fiasco, that I was done with NXT, and I have not watched since. Honest to God's truth, I have not watched a second of NXT. I have not read a spoiler. I have not paid attention to it. And nor do I care at this point. And I feel badly about it for the guys that are there that I like the Dijaks of the world, and, you know, they can call him whatever they want, but he'll always be Dijak to me. Excuse me, as the allergies have kicked in. And I may have a little sniffle, I may have a little cough, but we'll battle through it, because we're warriors here at the Soldiers of Shoot. We battle through things. As Bobby said, we're on the front lines. Can you just hear how zapped... Listen, I'm off track already, but can you just hear how zapped Edwards' energy is when he talks about the WWE? You can just, like... When he reads something he likes, like the little Cesaro bit, like the excitement is like, oh my god, it's actually something I like. Here we go, and then it's like, yeah, okay, they killed it. It's done. It's good. Okay. But I love the Impact stuff. It's tremendous, and they did a very good job. Having not watched Raw or SmackDown myself, I read the spoilers as well. But hearing them go through it, I almost wish I didn't read the spoilers, because it was kind of like fun to listen to them read it and go through it and break it down. And, you know, it was kind of cool to see if I had some of the same thoughts. I actually thought, me reading it myself, I kind of power read it because I was like, oh, this just sounds like crap. But they hit on some points. And, I mean, listen, and I texted Edwards earlier today, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on this WWE garbage, which it is. And I'm going to be at Money in the Bank, and we're going to get there. And we're going to do some rating stuff, and we're going to talk some AEW. That's really going to be the theme of the show. But when you talk about the Kabuki Warriors, I think they're calling Sane and Asuka there. I mean, I'm not going to go as crazy about it as Edwards did. I get where he's coming from, but it's just like, once we had the Viking Experience, like, I mean, I know sometimes you could say there's rock bottom, but there is no rock bottom with the WWE. Like, they like, their rock bottom is like, they're headed towards like the firing bowels of a Hawaiian volcano. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no rock bottom at this point. I don't know if the old man has just completely lost it and he's burying everybody in the company. I don't know if there's anybody with the balls to stand up and be like, this is wrong. You know, I don't know that Mr. Paul, the Hunter, the game, has, you know, does he have the balls he has on TV to say, Vince, like, what are we doing here? And where's Shane? You know, I got friends telling me, oh, yeah, Vince just overrules them. Well, really? Is that really the case? Or are they just not as creative either? I don't know. I really don't know. The stuff you hear is that the Firefly Funhouse, which is probably the only thing that everybody's latched onto here, is very much Bray Wyatt and very much his own team or whatever's going on there. But my question to that is, to what end? Because at some point, he's going to have matches. And he's going to have on-air storylines. Like, the vignettes are good. I like the way it's progressed. I thought they got to a point where they had to give you something, especially after those little flashes that they did the last few weeks. I thought they got there. I thought it was a good time to get there. Excuse me, being the go-home show. But to just tie this all in a bow before we get to the ratings, the Kabuki Warriors here. You know, I heard all this stuff that they couldn't keep the War Raider name because Vince didn't like the name War, and they changed them to the Viking Experience, and now they're the Viking Raiders, and they have the Viking Experience finisher, whatever's going on. But I hear that, but then in the next breath we have the Kabuki Warriors, which is very much pretty close. They're war warriors. You know, what the fuck is the difference? It's very head-scratching. The tag team makes no sense. Saint and Hollywood broke it down a lot further. I'm not even going to go there. Jump on their show. It's a little teaser for you. Listen to it. It's tremendous. It's an hour. It's a solid hour. It's entertaining. Check it out. I think a lot of fans will agree with it. And as always, if you don't agree or you agree with anything said on this show, feel free to put it down in the comments. And if you listen to their show, feel free to put it down in the comments. We encourage the feedback of the fan here at Soldiers of Shoot, as we are on the front lines, and we will take on all comers, but we will also we enjoy to hear what people are thinking. The ratings tell a story, but they don't tell all the story. We get that, and you know, there are very loyal fans to the WWE. They're dwindling in droves, but there's still some of you out there. I mean, listen, Vince has brainwashed people for a long time. You can't unbrainwash everybody. We get it. Like, it just makes you wonder, is it ego at this point with Vince? Because let's get into this ratings thing. And there's a lot of levels to this that I don't think a lot of people talk about. Like, people tend to say, oh, the rating was down, the show was trash. The rating was up, oh, they must be doing better. I don't think it's either of both. I think the shows are very similar. They're very repetitive. I don't want to use the word predictable, because I think when you watch wrestling enough, it becomes predictable anyway. Like, a lot of us have been watching wrestling for decades. So sometimes you know what move's coming. Sometimes you know who's going to win. Sometimes you know how matches are going to be formulated. I don't find that stuff predictable. I just think that's wrestling, and that's what you're enjoying. But when you open the show like 9 to 10 times since WrestleMania, whatever it's been, basically the same. It's just lazy. It's not good. It's boring. It's uninteresting. It's very repetitive. Excuse me. As I said, the allergy thing. But there was some interesting stuff with this rating. Yes, the rating was up. But I think there's a couple key points you have to realize here. The NBA didn't have a game Monday night. And I think that's very important. And I think you're going to see that play out this Monday when they'll be up against Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals, which is, I would guess, star power-wise, probably the bigger series than the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, I know you have Kawhi Leonard, you have the Greek Freak, but it's still, you know, Toronto versus Milwaukee. Here you have the great Golden State Warriors, 3 out of the last 4 titles. They've been in the titles 4 years in a row, 73 wins, the whole thing. Durant out, Durant may be back in Game 4. We don't know. They've been playing great without him. Who knows? So many storylines. I heard Edwards bring that up on the show when they were talking about politics and the storylines, and the greatest character on TV is Donald Trump. 100% agree. And if you disagree, put it down in the comments. I said this to my buddy Jim today. We were talking about the idea that Fox wants this 3.3 kind of, it's not a ceiling, it's more of a lower end rating. And how are you going to double the rating of a show? Which, where they are now, you're getting to that territory with SmackDown. I mean, they're headed towards, it's not even summertime yet. Let's be honest, it's not summertime yet. People aren't on vacation. People aren't really at barbecues. The weather in the Northeast has been terrible. More people are watching things that have to do with the NBA than are watching the WWE. And I think that it's important for this reason. You might say, oh, it's the NBA, whatever. No. The age demographic that the WWE needs to start shooting for is not watching the product. Yes, the rating was up this week. Yes, they weren't up against any extravagant sporting events, Monday Night Football, the NBA playoffs. They're up against like one hockey game, not a big deal. They weren't up against anything extravagant. When they went up against the NBA on Tuesday, they got destroyed. And the reason is the age demographic that they need right now is not watching the WWE. And when they turn it on, they're the ones turning it off. Look at the statistics. Look at the statistics. It's all out there for you. You can look it up on the internet. Women 33 and younger turn the show off at an alarming rate. They just main evented WrestleMania with women for a reason. We all understand the reason. Whether you agree or disagree from a wrestling standpoint, from a business standpoint, we get why they force-fed that and why they did it. But now the women are turning the show off at an alarming rate. You know why? This is my guess, and I don't know this to be fact. The 8-year-old, the 10-year-old, the 11-year-old, maybe even a 12-year-old here or there, the moms let them watch it for a couple hours, an hour, hour and a half. Then they have to go to bed. It's still school time, right? So they're turning the show off. Solid reason? Maybe. Am I just throwing out a guess? Could be. I don't know. My daughter's 18 years old. None of her friends watch WWE. So if women under 33 are watching it, why would they be watching it? Because of Becky Lynch? Hey, if you want to go with that, feel free. I'm going to go with they have a young son or daughter who wanted to watch, who now has to go to bed. So they run a PG show from 9 to 11 when kids are sleeping. Tremendous. Anyway, another point. The age demographic that's not turning the show off, and you're going to laugh when you hear this, is plus 50. The age demographic that holds through the entire show, that doesn't generally turn it off, is plus the age 50. I'm not kidding. It's out there. You can look it up. Look it up for yourself. I did the research. I read it in multiple places. I delved into this to do this show tonight. You know what I think this is? I have a father that's 68 who, if you saw him, could pass for 54 easily. He watches the Yankees every night. Every single night that the Yankees are playing, that's what he watches. He's miserable in the winter because the Yankees aren't on, okay? This is how he watches the Yankees. They have dinner. They clean up. My father goes down in the man cave, sits in his recliner, turns the game on. At some point between the first and the third inning, he falls asleep. He wakes up, sees what's going on, falls asleep. Wakes up, sees what's going on, falls asleep. Somewhere around the seventh inning, he gets up, turns the TV off, goes into the bedroom, puts Yes back on, watches the Yankee game until he falls asleep or sees them win, and then he turns it off again. That's how he watches the Yankees. Never turns it off, right? That, if you're 50 years old watching the WWE right now, my guess is they turn it on, fall asleep, and it's still on the TV. That's why they're holding the rating. I can't fathom any other reason why. I'm not even saying this to be an ass. Like, I know I'm sounding like an asshole right now. And partly, I mean, I am. But, like, honestly, like, if you think about it logically, what other explanation can you have for the plus 50 demographic leaving the show on for 3 hours? And you could be a WWE fanboy and go, hey, there were spoilers out there and the rating went up. The rating went up. Becky, 2 belts. Strowman in the main event with Sami Zayn. This is what we need. The ratings are up. Really? The largest drop-off from hour 1 to hour 3 in the history of Raw. I'll say it again. If you disagree, put it in the comments. If you disagree, Google it, read the articles, and see what I'm saying. The largest drop-off from hour 1 to hour 3 in the history of Raw. They lost 20% of their audience in the 3-hour period. 20%. Why? What is the reason to keep the show on? We keep saying it over and over again. Give us a reason to watch the whole show. I didn't watch it. I read the spoilers, and I watched the YouTube version of the Firefly Funhouse, and that's all I watched. Getting to that point, because I found that interesting too, when you break down I actually found this in my research. So, before we get to the YouTube stuff, hour 1, 2.567 million viewers, right? That's great. It's way up. Okay. Hour 2 plays into my theory here. 2.391 million viewers. Little drop off, not too bad. Kids start going to bed, right? Okay. But the 50-year-old guy's snoozing in his recliner, but it's still on the TV. But is he actually watching? I don't know. And don't tell me that 50-year-old guy is going on YouTube either. So the kids are watching the show differently. I agree. It's just bad for the WWE. Now, the final hour. 2.080 million viewers. 500,000 viewers. 20% of their audience turned the show off by the final hour. Not good. And I found this interesting, so I want to bring it up before we move on to the Money in the Bank stuff. The top 5 most WWE Raw from May 13th, this Monday, May 13th, 2019. Videos on YouTube. Bray Wyatt reveals dark secret on Firefly Funhouse. Now, this is views by Tuesday. Not, if you were to check it now, I'm sure it's probably a lot more. But this was within 12 hours or so, 24 hours or so of Raw airing. 1.3 million views for Bray Wyatt reveals dark secret on Firefly Funhouse. Okay. 1.3 million views. Pretty good, right? Roman Reigns and The Miz versus Bobby Lashley and Elias. 1 million views. Reigns, Miz. For all you people out there that says Reigns doesn't draw, okay. Charlotte Flair, Lacey Evans drive Becky Lynch through a table. 736 views. Oh, 736,000 views. Pretty good. It's number 3. Women involved. Becky Lynch, table, Charlotte. You can live with it. Rey Mysterio versus Cesaro. 633,000 views. And then rounding out the top 5, Falls Count Anywhere match, Braun Strowman versus Sami Zayn. Just under 600,000 views, which is less than half of what Bray got. And the women are pretty close to half of what Bray got. And the other topping out, again, was Reigns and The Miz versus Lashley and Elias. You got Elias in there. You got Lashley, who's known, Miz, Reigns. But let's face it, the guy who's been given some creative control is killing it right now. To what end? We'll see. I got to tell you this, and I think they need to be careful. Because if they blow it big with Bray Wyatt in this whole scenario here, the Firefly Funhouse, this extra creepy, diabolical, whatever he is, this Slipknot character, whatever you want to call him. If they blow this, they might really alienate a lot of people. They're alienating people every day, and they may alienate a lot of people if they fuck this up. I think they need to go big. I think they need to go huge. I think they need to push this to the moon. I think they need to keep creepy. I think they need to keep it scary. And listen, if you have to put it in the third hour when the kids go to sleep, draw in that younger crowd in that third hour and keep Bray Wyatt in that third hour. Whatever you got to do, or put him on SmackDown. However you got to take it out. Or, I mean, listen, we all know this wild card rule is a bunch of garbage. And they want to try to keep this brand split garbage going. Just get done. Forget the wild card rule. Forget all this. Get rid of the brands. You know Fox has pressure on you. Fox is putting pressure for them to put a big program for SmackDown because they want the viewers, and we all know why. That's why Reigns is there. That's why Balor's there. That's why, Becky Lynch is on both shows. But then NBC saying, hold on a minute, your ratings are plummeting and you take away Roman Reigns for us, and then they come out with a fucking wild card rule. Listen, it's not creative. They're responding to the ratings. They're not saying, this is our plan. This is what we want to do. This is our story. This is how we get there. This is how we're going to draw people in. This is how we're going to make it entertaining. They're not saying any of that. They're saying the ratings suck. Let's respond to it. Yeah, the rating was good for that. Let's respond to it. It's all half-ass. So I'm going to Money in the Bank. And I'm only going because the tickets are free. And I'm going with my buddy Jim, and, we're going to, he got the tickets for us. We're going to go. I'm not going to back out on him. There's a lot of me that doesn't even want to go because I just think the show is going to be a shit show. Listen, wrestling's always better when you're there in person because you feel the crowd, you feel the vibes. But there's a lot of stuff that could go wrong here. 3 women's matches. Again, I'm not trying to be a misogynistic womanizer and all this other bullshit. I'm definitely not trying to be a truck driver from Virginia, anything like that. There's comments. But do I need to see Becky Lynch wrestle twice in one night? I mean, I don't know. I do know I don't. Let's be honest. Why am I going to pussyfoot around? I don't need to see it. I think the women's ladder match will probably... Listen, when you get into these Money in the Bank ladder matches, they tend to deliver. It's a fun thing. It's kind of like story out the window for a second. You're just watching a crazy match, and you really have no idea who's going to win type of thing. And I have some thoughts. I honestly, I'd like to see like a Drew McIntyre or an Andrade win that Money in the Bank briefcase and do something big with it. I think it could be huge for Andrade. It seems like they're giving him a little bit of a push. We've been praying for this McIntyre push for a while now. We haven't got it. Could the briefcase provide that? Maybe. I'm just worried that we're going to sit there and, Finzi there, the Fonzie Finzi, is going to be, holding the briefcase, with the paint on, the demon, or even if maybe he's not even a demon. Maybe he is a demon. Maybe he's not, holding the briefcase, and that's when you finally see this crazy Bray Wyatt character, and then he starts the feud with the Finzi there. The demon versus Bray. And I just think that's could happen, and I think it could be not good. And if you disagree, put it in the comments. Or if you agree, put it in the comments. I honestly think Becky Lynch will probably retain both titles. I don't really care. I know some people are high on AJ versus Seth. I have not bought into this feud. I haven't bought into Kofi and KO there. Could those matches be good? I mean, given the guys that are in them, you'd expect them to be good. I don't think they're going to get the proper time because we got to have 2 matches with Becky 2 belts. So I think, you got 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes cut off each match so Becky could get her 2 matches in. Who knows? Who knows what they're going to do? Let's be honest. But anyway, I guess you'll get a couple good matches there. I'm not that invested in it. Which, you could say, you're the indie guy, the ROH guy, New Japan, the guy that can't wait for AEW. We're going to get there. And you don't want to see AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins and you don't want to see Kofi Kingston versus Kevin Owens. I mean, I'm not saying I don't want to see it. I'm just not invested in the story they're giving me, I guess. You know, they put Sami Zayn in this Money in the Bank ladder match. After defeating Strowman here, and he gets put through a table. So it's kind of the same thing they've been doing. You know, Sami gets thrown into the back of a garbage truck, and their moronic, idiotic, stupid fucking explanation the next day on SmackDown is, Sami, you smell like trash. He's not dirty. Like he slept in the fucking garbage can, and you remember how Becky got driven to SmackDown, or was it SmackDown? She got driven to SmackDown 6 cities over by the police. Like the Washington D.C. police drove her to Baltimore, or vice versa, or something like that. So now Sami Zayn got thrown into the garbage truck. The fucking garbage truck drove him to SmackDown, and he got out and he smelled, but he wasn't dirty. He's not wearing the same clothes. So Michael Cole is going, oh my God, he could be killed, and he mysteriously gets out of this fucking garbage disposal, this garbage dumpster. No explanation how he got out of it. And the way they try to tell you the story is, oh, Sami, you smell like crap. I'm glad it was in the first hour, because that's when the 8-year-olds were watching with the soccer moms. That's good job. Good job. That's when they were watching. Because somebody our age, most of the people listening to this, most of the people that try to watch and turn the show off, know this is child's play. This is stupid. It's stupid. What would have been better? When the truck tips, Sami slips out the side and falls over and runs away, and comes back the next day clean and says, hey, I escaped death. I took a shower. No, how did they explain it? Oh, Sami Zayn was in a garbage truck last night. He was in a dumpster. Sami, you smell like shit. Oh, boy. Emmy writing. Award-winning Emmy writing there. Tremendous stuff. So that happens. Then he takes the pin to Kofi to close SmackDown last week, because I actually watched it. God knows why I did, but I did. Takes the pin. Comes back this week, gets the win, gets in the match, then gets put through a table. So Sami Zayn, who's been losing and getting thrown into dumpsters and put through tables, gets a lucky win and is now in the Money Bank ladder. He'll probably win it. It's like when Becky tapped and then we're supposed to forget about it until Asuka brought it up. Strowman's going to, after Sami wins the briefcase, Strowman's going to come out next week and go, I put you in a garbage truck. Oh, and then I put you through a table. Oh, the big monster. Oh, give me a break. Give me a break. Listen, this is what we got to do. Take Braun Strowman off TV for 6 months. Get rid of him till fucking Survivor Series or something. And then have him come back, repackage him somehow. Just get away from this monster among men and all this. Who's going to buy this shit anymore? Who? This guy loses to everybody. But don't worry. He could flip an ambulance. Roar! I can't. I just can't. Like, oh man. I honestly, I think this is the honest to God's truth. I truly believe Sami Zayn is better suited to be in a Money in the Bank ladder match than Braun Strowman. Trust me. But it's not always the result. It's how you get there. I see all these memes, and I see them all the time, and they're usually shared by, like, WWE fanboys or guys that are in the business, air quotes. Like, they gave you what you wanted. You wanted Becky, you got her. You wanted Kofi, you got him. You wanted Seth, you got him. You didn't want Roman Reigns, he didn't win the title. You know, they gave you everything you want and you still bitch. No, it's not only the end result, it's how the fuck you get there. Hold on, I need a sip here. I'm dying. I wonder if wine, like, can cure allergies. We'll try. Maybe we'll get the tequila out. I gotta get through this. We gotta get through the AEW stuff. Gotta get my energy back up for the AEW stuff, you know? But it's how you get there. They killed... We've been over it 1,000 times. They killed the women's story very early on. I wasn't thrilled. I didn't love the way they got Kofi to where he was going. Other than the last week or so before Mania, I thought it was a recovery. But I'll say this. We got Kofi winning, which is what we wanted, yes. And it wasn't the worst story ever. It wasn't the greatest story ever. But we got there, and we got a really good match at WrestleMania. But it was on the cocksucking mid-card. So, is there a sense, and I wonder this, and if you feel this way, please put it in the comments, that Kofi is still, you know, Daniel Bryan said it, a B-plus player. And is he being treated as a B-plus player? I think you could make that case. Mid-card, hawking T-shirts after, I know, you guys are, he's bringing up the T-shirts again. It drives me crazy that they did that. It really does. It really drives me crazy that they were hawking T-shirts after the match. It drove me nuts. That should have been Kofi in the middle of the ring, circa WrestleMania 30, with the fucking confetti coming down and his kids and his family. Forget the fucking T-shirts. Main eventing. Like, Kofi would be on such a level now. I just feel like they did it because they felt like they had to. And I've defended them with the Daniel Bryan stuff, saying that I believe that's where they were going, and it was portrayed as the fans making it happen was part of the story. I still think that's the case for Daniel Bryan, but for Kofi, I think they did it because they knew they had to at that point. But we're going to give it to you, but we're only going to give it to you this much. And don't think for a second that Vince McMahon isn't looking at that SmackDown rating going, ugh, we got the title on the pancake guy. You know, the Jamaican, Kofi. All right, pal, like, the ratings are down, pal. And then we had him close out Raw last week, and the last hour wasn't good, pal. If you don't think Vince McMahon's thinking that, if you don't think that Vince McMahon isn't thinking about putting that belt on Kevin Owens to get it on Reigns, it would not shock me. Would not shock me one stinking bit. Kevin Owens wins the title. Roman Reigns is the number one contender. Because if they have Reigns take it off Kofi, everybody's gonna go crazy. Oh, shoving them down our throat, showing people that make derogatory comments to people that have cancer that say that he can never be booed again. Well, let Roman Reigns take that title off Kofi and see how bad he gets booed. It will be, Royal Rumble in Philly-esque, guaranteed if it was to ever happen. And I think they know that, which is why I don't think they'll ever do it. So if it's not KO and somebody else wins the Money in the Bank and takes it off, maybe it's Sami Zayn, maybe it's Drew McIntyre, maybe it is Andrade. If that title comes off Kofi in the next few weeks, blame the ratings, pal. The blue team is falling short, pal. And who's the leader of the blue team, pal? Well, Roman's he's a wild card guy. He's on both shows, pal. And look at Roman was on the opening segment of Raw, and look at the ratings, pal. 2.5 million. If you don't think it's some sick way that's not going through that old guy's head, You are out of your mind. But anyway, my personal preview of this Money in the Bank is I'm going to be sitting in the stands, and I'm going to be honest with all of you. I will probably be intoxicated because I just don't know how I can get through this any other way. And if you hear any derogatory chants starting in the crowd, could be your boy. Because my expectation level going into this show and going into watching it live is not very high. And listen, call me a fucking millennial wrestling fan. Call me whatever you want. I would say I spent my hard-earned money to go to this show, but I got the tickets for free. But let's just assume, I mean, the beer is going to be expensive, so I'm spending my hard-earned money to buy beer at this show to get through it. So I have a right to boo whatever I want to boo, and I'm going to do it. See, I don't do dodgeballs or beach balls or waves or, gay chants and what's. I start like, this shit sucks. Don't put it past me because I'm ready. And I got to tell you, I know a lot of people that are going to be there, and they're all unhappy with the direction of this company right now. Save the Firefly Funhouse thing. So if they ever botch that while we're there, there might be a full-blown riot in Hartford, Connecticut. I listen, it could get nasty in there. Trust me, I've been there. Get some people down from Mass, some people up from New York, New England wrestling fans. If you hear a motorcycle going by, I apologize. The studio is had to get moved while we're doing some construction here at the old Studio B here. Yeah, expectation level low. Expectation to have a drunken good time and hopefully not get kicked out before it's over. High. And I will be back to break it all down for you. That's my goal for next week at some point. So we're gonna jump on here. We're gonna jump on the airwaves here on the Soldier Shoot YouTube channel situation here, and we'll give you. Maybe I'll even do it Sunday night and get it out for you by Monday morning, Monday afternoon. A live accounting of the experience of being there. I often wonder if it's better to give a live accounting while it's fresh in your mind, or to go there live, come home, watch it, and then try to break it down from both ways. But I'm thinking that the live accounting would be better, A, and B, I don't think the show is going to be entertaining enough to even remotely make me want to watch it. Plus, I just got an email from WWE that my subscription, which I paid 69 cents a month for or whatever, is running out tomorrow. Nice trick, but I'm not going to renew now. I'm going to wait till you offer me one of these sweetheart deals again. So, you're losing another subscriber as of midnight tomorrow, WWE Network. Because I have no fucking reason to watch. And if Money in the Bank's really that bad, I guess I'll see you at SummerSlam. I don't know. Because there was nothing that could get me to turn on either one of those shows this week. Not a goddamn thing. And I don't foresee anything happening that's going to make me want to watch next week. Maybe they'll prove me wrong. We'll see. But there is something I do want to watch and something I'm very excited about. It's a little ways down the road here. We got Double or Nothing coming up about, by the time you hear this, probably a week, 6-8 days, depending on when you're listening to this. Kind of the kickoff for AEW. Maybe a continuation of All In. We'll have to see how that all plays out. I think we would do a Soldiers of Shoot preview show this week. If the boys want to get together and do it, let's do it. If not, I'll do it myself. I think that's important to do. I'm very excited about it. But let's talk about this TV deal at TNT. And for those of you confused, the TNT drama, TNT's been using that kind of drama slogan for a long time now. It's not a different network. It's TNT. TNT. Where you used to watch Nitro. Same fucking network. With the Fire and the AEW is pretty cool. Everything I've read from TV industry people, is that AEW got a very good deal for a company that's an upstart. They're not going to get the kind of upfront dollars that, say, the UFC gets now, or the WWE gets now, or the NHL, the NBA, or MLB, or especially the NFL gets now. But this happened to all of them in the beginning, where you get dollars off the advertising, and you kind of go from there. So meaning, like, when Fox Sports or Fox Network, because it's different now, they're separate. They weren't before, but they are now. Purchases the NFL contract, they give them, let's say, $10 billion. It's that or more. They pay that just to get the rights. And then, the advertising sold and the whole thing works out. ESPN pays a certain amount for Monday Night Football, the whole thing. That's not what's happening here with AEW because they're an upstart. They're giving them a prime TV slot. They're pushing them to the moon. They're the production, the everything else. But the way AEW is going to make money off of this deal is to sell advertising. And to sell advertising, you need to do what? You need to get ratings. So they are under the gun in the sense that they need to sell advertising. They need to get ratings, and then they can progress more and more. And let's face it, if the show's doing well and selling advertising and gaining ratings and profitable, they will get those dollars up down the road. The UFC did this with Spike TV. Then they got an okay deal from Fox 1. And then when they proved who they were, they got the mega deal from ESPN. That's where AEW is basically like the UFC when they went to Spike. And when Vince first brought WWE on TV, everybody goes through this. Nobody if you read a dirt sheet out there that's saying, "Oh, they didn't get syndicated dollars," and it's a failure. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Read the industry. Read what the TV people are saying. There's actually TV people out there shocked they got a deal this good, being a startup, and being that, mainstream star power on AEW is still pretty small. You make the case for Cody, Dustin, and of course Jericho. Maybe Omega a little bit. Maybe the Bucks a little bit. But that's still wrestling niche people. There's not a lot of huge star power. Now, there's Moxley's out there. There's Punks out there. There's, different guys out there that could possibly boost that audience that we may see. That remains to be seen. But I think in these few shows before the TV show goes off, I think if you get a really good wrestling product and people are very exciting about it and talking about it, coming out of it, I think that's enough to get them to October. And I actually texted this to Edwards earlier, and I almost want to retract some of what I texted to him. I was like, it sounds like AEW's going to Tuesday night, being that SmackDown's going to Friday. And I was like, I would have liked them to have been on Thursday to get better. But then I thought about that for a second. In October, the NFL is on Thursday night. So they would then be battling the NFL. But by going to Tuesday night with no SmackDown, Tuesday nights in the wintertime, 8 to 10, that's a big spot for AEW, a big opportunity for them. I also think that TNT does the NBA on, it's either Wednesday or Thursday. I'm not sure exactly. They do the NBA. They want more of a sports-centric show from what I'm reading, but it's being produced more by their TV creative people, I guess. So that's interesting to see. Do they really promote this during NBA coverage? Do they promote this during on TBS during their Major League Baseball playoff coverage, which could be huge? And I got to tell you, with the WWE audience dwindling, I'm sorry, but we were saying it years ago when they were at like 4 million, 3 million, whatever, 3.5 million, that they were just getting their niche wrestling audience, that they really weren't getting a lot of casuals. Let's just say we're correct about that. That means they've lost a lot of wrestling fans. They've lost a lot of their core fan base, at least watching on TV. Do they subscribe to the network? Do they watch the pay-per-views? Let's be honest, we will never know. They're never going to tell you how many people watch Money in the Bank on Sunday. I'll be interested to see if the building's sold out. That'll be interesting. I would say, given that it's a hotbed for professional wrestling in this area, I would say I will be shocked if it's not sold out. It's not, the product's not good. The ratings suck. I don't think there's a lot of full steam ahead for Money in the Bank. I don't think there's a lot of excitement for it. But I also think you're in a niche wrestling area, a building that easily sells out Raws and SmackDowns in the past. So I'll be shocked if it's not sold out. But we'll be back to break that down for you. And again, we'll be back next week to talk about All or Nothing. Or All or Nothing. I put All In and Double or Nothing together. Double or Nothing. And if I said All or Nothing earlier, I apologize. Allergy medication and wine don't always mix. Oh, boy. We'll be back to... I'll give you a in-house account. Hopefully I'll be able to get that going on Sunday night, early Monday for you. And then hopefully I could round up the troops and maybe even the general. You never know. And we can do a Double or Nothing preview show next week before, StarCast and the big wrestling weekend on Memorial Day weekend for AEW. The big first show. I think we're in for some surprises. I think we're in for a really good show. But we'll get to all that next week. If you're so inclined, enjoy Money in the Bank. I will try as well with many alcoholic beverages in my system. And if I'm coherent after, I will record for you. I promise. No, I'm kidding. I'll be all right. I will get that out for you guys. Like I said, if you're so inclined, enjoy Money in the Bank. Big boxing match this weekend. My boy Deontay Wilder's fighting. If you like boxing, I just had to throw that out there. But that's going to wrap it up here. I'm Daddy Cool AC. Soldiers of Shoot. We out.
Soldiers of Shoot.